welcome to this exciting video. I've got Alicia and we've been doing some fun stuff, liberty stuff, groundwork stuff, and today we are doing bridleless riding. And I was kind of noticing that she's really been way more in tune with my body and pretty darn awesome. So I was thinking that maybe we would just take off the neck rope altogether and see if we can still do some things. So this should be pretty cool. My 3-year-old off the track Thoroughbred that's been in training for a couple months now. And we're gonna try to do some riding with nothing at all right? So let's see how this goes.
So we're going to do a little bit of walking around and just kind of making sure that things are working. And every so often, I'm using my legs and my seat primarily to guide her where she's going. And then sometimes if that's not working really well, you'll see me reach down with my hands and guide her with a little bit of pressure on the side of her neck with my hands to reinforce the cue that I'm asking with my body and my leg. So it's kind of like a 3-tier system of seat, leg, and then hand. And the hands work because they're kind of using the same spots or cue system that the neck rope did. So once you kind of teach your horse on a neck rope, then transitioning to hands or going vice versa is very similar for them. So it's a little bit different than how most people teach bridleless with no neck rope, because they kind of do seat and legs only, but then if it's not working, they don't really have a backup option. They can only go to putting the bridle on. So it's a little bit different to think about riding your horse with your hands while going bridleless. Is a little bit on the different side. But as you can see, it works pretty well. And so we're doing some changes of directions, and we're making some transitions around the ring and stuff like that. And trying to keep things relatively basic to start off with, where sometimes like I'm going up to the top of the arena and I'm giving her a cookie just for riding up there. And there I'm doing a little bit of backup, asking her to make sure we understand those cues. Sometimes I'm doing some circles, sometimes I'm doing changes across the diagonal a little bit. Not trying to do anything super intense, so we're not working on like super tight circles or anything like that. And for the most part, when it comes to riding the different gaits, we're not doing anything super particular. So I'm just riding the trot that she's kind of giving me. I'm not worrying too much about how fast she's going or things like that. I know she's got a really good stop cue, so I'm not really worried about that. There you can see her riding across the diagonal, and you can see I used my hand a little bit to help guide her in the direction that we're going. And the goal really for this is just to keep it fun for my horse, but making sure that she listens to where I ask her to go. So if I'm asking for a right turn, I want to make sure that she does go right, because in the event that she figured out that she could not listen to me if I don't have any tools whatsoever, then that could be really bad for our future of bridleless. I want to make sure she understands that I'm very fair, I'm very reasonable, this can be fun, but at the same time, you still need to listen to where we're going, because otherwise it's not going to be safe. And if it's not safe, it's not fun, and then we're not going to be able to do it. So like there, you can see she started to head off to the right, and I had to lean forward and use my hand because I wanted her to go around that obstacle that was there. So everything's going super duper well. So I'm like, you know what? Let's go for a canter. Most important thing for a canter is to make sure you have a halt cue. And I'm just like giggling and laughing right now because she's like a little Western quarter horse or something, like a little Western pleasure horse. Like your nose is basically in the dirt and you can't wait to stop, which is crazy. Totally different from Fairly, who I had last year for my freestyle, who was raring to go and just waiting for when I'd be like, yeah, okay, let's go for it kind of thing. This horse is the total opposite. She's easy for me to get going. She's not like really bad that way, but she's not fiery waiting to take off and go. So totally different from training Fairly, which this kind of personality lets me get to this level of bridleless way sooner. So we're doing another little transition here in a minute to the left. So we kind of checked out both leads. And this is so funny. She hasn't done this before. So it's just kind of interesting when I take off all of the tools completely. Her nose is just totally going into the dirt. And there she actually stumbled. So I let her come back to a halt and thought that's fine. We were going to stop soon anyways. But it's so weird and interesting for me that when I'm taking everything off, like her preference is to hunt the halt, if you will, where she's got her nose in the dirt and she can't wait for me to give that yes cue where she's going to get to stop and get her cookie. So it's kind of funny. But at the same time, like there's a lot of people who are against using treats and against using positive reinforcement and think I'm crazy for using cookies and stuff like that, even though it's becoming kind of a growing trend and there are a lot of other top trainers, top freestyle trainers that are using positive reinforcement. But it's still a bit of kind of a taboo thing a little bit. But I think this is kind of proof in the pudding right here, just with how well my horses are doing, but especially Alicia being a 3-year-old off the track thoroughbred who's only been out for or only in training off the track since she came off the track middle of November, I think it was. She came home to me kind of towards the end of November, and she ended up having surgery too. So that meant that she was off for a little bit. And now we're at the beginning of April. So like 4 or 5 months in being post racetrack, and she's riding around with no bridle and no neck rope and doing obstacles and doing canter halts and stuff like that. And this is the first ever ride with no bridle, no neck rope. So I'm pretty thrilled with how she's doing. And the fact that she is food motivated is very helpful in training her and getting that to go really well. Keep in mind too that I don't ride her a lot. Look at that. Look at, she's a Western pleasure horse. Like, I'm just laughing. Like, I can't, like, that is ridiculous. Like, what are you doing? So funny. But because she is young, I only ride her a couple times a week, and I keep my rides usually less than 20 minutes. I don't want to be on her too long. And if we go for a trail ride or something, then I'll be on her a little bit longer than that. But usually I keep these sessions really, really short, kind of get to the point and reward. And then we get on and we get out of there. And then some days during the week, we're doing groundwork only. And that's to just respect that she's still growing. Her back needs to get stronger. Her pelvis still needs to close and stuff like that. So super important not to do too much with her, because then I might end up regretting it, because I might end up hurting her unintentionally just from starting her too young. So we did the little pool and we did the little mattress. And before we started this bridleless, I didn't actually do the obstacles with her yet. So it's not like we'd done them on this session and then now she's going to them. She's listening where I want her to go. And we've been avoiding the obstacles up until this point. So I thought, well, why don't we finish by seeing if I can, make a correction and get her set up to go over a couple obstacles. So we're heading down to a more narrow bridge that was set up. And I apologize, the way the lighting is coming in the back there, you can't see it super well, but you can see her go to take one foot. And then I end up having to back her up and readjust her to stay straight. And then up she goes onto the bridge, but she kind of comes down off the side. I'm still going to reward her because at least she put all 4 feet onto the bridge, but then she was kind of lazy and went off of it. So I thought, well, let's try that again and see if we can get it where she actually stops on the bridge or at least goes straight. Sometimes I don't stop them on the bridge or give them a cookie on the bridge, just because sometimes then that can cause them to kind of fall or stumble off the bridge. So here she's staying nice and straight, and I'm trying to go slowly and make sure she stays straight and going up onto the bridge, and you can see she does there. So I offer her her little cookie there, some positive reinforcement. And then I decided, you know what, I'm going to just hop off there because I am super duper happy with how she did. I can't believe it. I wasn't that wasn't the goal of the session, but it was something that kind of presented itself to ride bridleless, no neck rope, and I'm pretty happy that we did it. So thanks for watching.